What's up, guys? We're back and it's raining. It's Friday, September 1st, 2023, and it's coming down hard. You can hear it. The beautiful sound of the rain. We needed it, so it's all good. Check it out. Alright, so this is a good time to collect some rainwater, which is on the acidic side, which a lot of plants, at least some of the ones that I grow, like. So I'm planning on dumping some of this into my blueberries and also dumping some of it into some of my avocados that seem to be needing a little bit more acidic soil. But today what I wanted to share is a little trip to Louis' Nursery, where I found some unique varieties of avocados that you usually don't find out here in Southern California. So I want to share that with you. So let me see if I can put some of that footage in here. And then also I think I'm going to re-release an old video that I did that I took down, and I made some modifications to the video for some folks who have been asking me for some information on how to set up an irrigation line to some potted plants. So I'm going to re-release an old video also. Some of you guys may have seen it, and we got a lot of new subscribers, so a lot of you may not have seen it because I delisted it, but I'm going to turn it back on. Enjoy. Alright, avocado fans, I'm at Louis' and I found something different, the Russell avocado. Also, they have a bunch, and they have this. Check this out. Okay, that one you can't really see. Oro Negro avocado. There's a bunch. So it's in kind of like this like shade structure that they have here, and wow, this is cool. I already have the Oro Negro, but I'm kind of curious about this Russell. Almost forgot to show you guys. It's $99, so I think that's a good deal for something unique and different. What's up, guys? We're back. So by special request, I'm gonna try to show you a setup that I currently use for my potted plants. So not the underground irrigation, but just potted plants, and this is what we're going to be showing you guys today. Alright, so pretty straightforward. So I got my hose bib connection coming out, water is coming out, and then I use what I call a Y connection, and this Y allows me to connect my irrigation and then also be able to use my garden hose bib connection here, so you can turn it on and still use it and not have to actually take this off and then put your hose on there. So that way, also because it sends it kind of down, which is good, you're holding your valve in the downward direction. So instead of holding your valve kind of sticking out like this, which actually applies a load, and that load can actually make your part break. So something to keep in mind. This kind of helps because it sends the water down. You can see I have it open right now. A couple of the things I also do is when I turn this on, I do not turn this on full blast. I just kind of crack it open just enough to have enough flow coming out. And what I've been using is this Orbit's kind of like hose bib timer. This thing is actually pretty simple. So this little timer, what I would recommend is that you buy the timer that has the brass versus the plastic. I've had a plastic version of this and it's cracked on me before. So if you go on Amazon, which what I'll do is I'll put the link in the description below, but there's a brass version which actually costs less than the plastic version, and it's much better. So recommend you getting something like that. This thing operates simply. I'll show you kind of the operation real quick. you turn your dial to set clock. You can just adjust your time. 7:02 right now, 7:03, go back to 7:02. Start time, I have my start time set at 5:49 a.m. How long do you want to run it for? I run it for 10 minutes. How often? Right now I have it running every 12 hours, but you can go every 6 hours, you can go every day, every 2 days, every 3 days. So because it's hot, I'm actually running it every 12 hours right now. This position is the off position. This turns it on, essentially. It's in auto. So now if you want to like test it and just run it manually, like right now, let's say I want to run it manually for 2 minutes. Hit the manual button, press down until you get to 2 minutes, leave it alone, and then in a couple of seconds here you'll hear it click on. I don't know if you heard that or not, but it just clicked on. So right now it's on. So if I go here to my potted avocado, you can see my little emitter, water's coming out. So that's kind of how you turn it on for 2 minutes, manual mode, right? So you just leave it on auto, which will leave it on, and it will turn on at 5:50 or whatever my start time was in the morning. So coming out of that, what you need is an adapter, and I definitely recommend using a pressure regulator and a filter, which is what this is. And this thing actually will drop the pressure down from your line pressure of your house all the way down to, this particular one's 30 psi. So drip irrigation runs better at lower pressure, and I recommend getting something like this, which has a filter and a pressure regulator all in one. Let me see if I can turn this off real quick so I can show you what it looks like. So I hit the off. If I'm running it on manual, it just clicked off right now. Go back to auto, which turns it back on, and I can just walk away at this point. So this cap right here is what has the filter inside. I'm gonna open it up real quick, show you guys what that looks like. So here's the filter, and even though this, the water's coming out my garden hose, which is supposed to be clean, let's see what it looks like on the inside here. You can see there's still debris. Hopefully the camera is picking that up. So all of the debris that this filter is catching is debris that could be going down your irrigation line, which then will clog your emitters. So recommend getting one of these for sure. Let me tighten it back up real quick. So, and it's nice because it's easy to open up, take out, clean out your filter. And what you can also do with something like this is add, what I've done is add kind of like a Miracle-Gro fertilizer that dissolves quickly in water. I fill up a little bit inside that filter, put it back in there, and then start this up, and it actually sends fertilizer down into your potted plants. So you're not having to go to each and every plant and then trying to water each and every one with some fertilizer. So now out of that, there is what's called a 1/2-inch poly tube, and this 1/2-inch poly tube, I run it underground, but as you can see, it got exposed. My kids kind of ride their bikes through this, and it exposed the line. It's actually not that big of a deal. This hose 1/2-inch poly line is actually pretty tough. They've been riding over this thing hundreds of times, and it's still holding up, so it looks pretty good still. And it's actually easy to repair also. So what I do is I run the line, and where I have a potted plant, so like your avocado or citrus or whatever it may be, I attach a barb. I don't know if you can see that. The barb attaches to, so this is 1/2-inch, this is called 1/4-inch. So the 1/4-inch goes into the barb goes into the 1/2-inch, that line kind of goes up. And some of my bigger pots, what I do is I do this loop, and this loop has like 1/4 inch emitters that are embedded inside. So there's a bunch of different emitters. So this is one way. This is not the only way. There's other ways of doing it, of course. And then on top of that, what I do is I run additional lines to each and every one of these emitters, and these emitters have a different rating for a different flow. So depending on how big your pot is, you just run water and it comes out, and you can actually measure it, just getting, you know, like a measurement cup and then timing it and then figuring out how much flow is coming out of each and every one of these, and then you can adjust your timer based on how much water you want to water your potted plants with. So pretty straightforward. There's a kit that you can actually get for all of the hoses, and then the tees, and then the barbs and all of that. I'll put the link down below in the description here, but there's one kit made by Rainbird that I highly recommend, and maybe I'll just do a screenshot of what it looks like. But it's definitely a kit that has everything you would need to be able to attach your line and run it straight off of a timer like this. So, and I definitely recommend doing a timer because you're probably like me, busy, and if we're away from home, having something like this which will automatically turn on twice a day or turn on once a day or even 4 times a day, especially when it's hot and you're not around, will help keep your potted plants hydrated. So something to kind of keep in mind, right? Oh yeah, so something else that I do, here you go, because the sun does kind of hit this area. So what I do is I just put a bucket over it to kind of keep it cool. This is just a temporary thing. It's not really the way you would want to go. So in this area, I call this like my little staging area, and what I have is an emitter in each and every pot, and you can see there's different types. You don't have to use the same type. You can select different types that has higher flow rates if you want a little bit more water to come out also. So it's just a way to kind of keep your pots hydrated when you're away. So the kit that I'm referring to has different types of emitters, and it also has different types of spray slash bubblers and things like that that you could definitely use to try to, you know, arrange your watering. And you know, you don't have to use it for potted plants. You can actually use it for your avocados also. If you want to run the line all the way to an avocado tree and then branch off of that and then use the different types of emitters, you can actually, you know, water your avocados with this setup also that I have. But the setup that I actually have for irrigating my avocados is a little bit different. It's a little bit more robust, I would say, because, you know, if you go back to this valve, this thing says, if you read the top, it says keep from freezing, store above 32 degrees F. So if this thing freezes, it can actually damage the valve and it can actually leak. So, and then also this thing runs off of batteries, right? So let me see if I can pull it out real quick. There you go. I got 2 batteries in there, 2 AA batteries. So, and then you always have to check, make sure that your batteries are still good, and if your batteries are dead, this thing will not turn on. So something to keep in mind if you're doing something like this also. Alright, so a couple of key takeaways. Do not get the one with the plastic connection that goes into your garden hose bib. Recommend getting the one with the metal brass. So and as you can see, This one's actually cheaper than the plastic one, and it's better. So recommend getting that for sure. So this is another option to be able to control your watering via Wi-Fi. I have not tried this. I don't know how well it works, but I do use the Orbitz brand for the beehive system for my in-ground. It should work the same on the app and how it kind of connects and be able to turn it on. So I'm thinking about using this setup maybe in the future. So if I'm away and I want to turn on my irrigation on, my potted plants like in the middle of the day, like 1 o'clock or 1:30, this might be an option. So considering it right now to see if I can use this version to see if I can actually make it work. So if I do get it, I'll let you guys know how it goes, and for sure keep you guys updated on how it performs compared to just a simple basic one, which will just turn on,